Over the past few years, we've slowly phased out certain staple foods from the store, not all at once, just little by little, because it's cheaper and healthier to make them from scratch at home, especially feeding our family of seven. And once I started, I realized how simple a lot of these really are. So today I'm sharing the three foods we don't buy anymore and how easy it is to start doing this in your own kitchen. And honestly, once you begin with just one of these, it tends to spill over into other areas of your home too. All right, so this is one of the easiest swaps we've made, and we've done this for years beforehand, and I actually stopped doing it until the yogurt prices really started to rise. So I have restarted making my yogurt at home, and I really do prefer doing it in the Instant Pot. On this day, I am only doing a half a gallon, and we ate that in one setting. So from here on out, I will be doing a full gallon. If you have a large family like me, I highly recommend that you consider doing that. I will leave the recipe for this in the description box below, but it really is just milk and your culture, and then anything you want to add in after the fact. You're going to use the saute function on the Instant Pot and let your milk get to about 180, 185 degrees, and you're going to need to stir it constantly so that it does not scorch on the bottom. This is the culture that I got from Azure Standard, or you can use about a half a cup to a cup of other plain yogurt from the store if you prefer. And so this is where it really started to make sense for us, especially with a bigger family. When you're buying yogurt at the store, you're paying for small containers or even the larger ones that are so expensive, and it only goes so far with many, many people. But with this, I can make a whole batch for the price of just the milk, essentially. And it ends up being a fraction of the cost, and we always have plenty on hand. Not only that, we can also control the ingredients, and in my household, that is very, very important to us. Most store-bought yogurts, even the ones that seem healthy, have quite a bit of added sugar or extra ingredients, such as natural flavors. With this, it's just milk and the cultures. And so you can keep it completely plain or sweeten it yourself if you want to, and I'll show you how I do it at the end of this video, but you're in full control. Now, it does take time, it's not instant, but the hands-on part is really minimal. I've just found that having a rhythm when it makes all the difference, like starting a batch in the evening and letting it sit overnight, or starting it in the morning like this and having it later that day. As you can see, I have been multitasking, and that is something that it really is crucial from an ingredient household. So, snacks, or in this case, pretzels, are very important to us. And I've shared this pretzel recipe a few times before, so I won't go into it step by step. But once you get into the habit of making things like this at home, it really does add up, especially with kids. And using the fresh ground flour, a few basic ingredients, and we can make a big batch for way less than what we'd spend on packaged snacks. So before all of this, I was a nurse, and over time, I started noticing how broken parts of the healthcare system can be. And that's really what pushed me to start taking more responsibility at home, beginning with the food we eat. And from there, it naturally carried over into herbalism as well. And so this is an artichoke tincture that I've had going for quite a while, and I'll link the full video on why I made this particular tincture, but the process is simple. Just herbs, alcohol, and some thyme. Learning to create your own herbal medicine at home can definitely save you money. It just takes, again, a little bit of time. And when you are doing things that better your health alongside of eating better, when you're doing things like this with tinctures and teas, it can save on your healthcare cost as well. And when you're buying supplements or herbal products at the store, you're usually paying for just a small bottle and they add up really quickly. But when you make something like a tincture at home, you can make a larger amount for a fraction of the cost and it lasts a very long time. And even just having a few basic herbs on hand means you're not constantly running out to buy something every time you need it. And if someone falls ill in your household, you do not have to run out to find it. And again, it's not about doing everything, it's just slowly replacing what you already use with something you can make yourself. And it's the same shift as food, just bringing more of it back into the home and taking more control over what you and your family are putting into your bodies. As you can see, I have a little bit of an herbal addiction problem, but I'm seeking help for it, I promise. Bone broth is another one we stopped buying pretty quickly. Anytime we have leftover bones or veggie scraps, I just save them in the freezer, and once I have enough, they go straight into a pot or a slow cooker. And I have shown you guys this several times over, and I will link that below. And it turns what would have been thrown away into something really, really nourishing and versatile. And it's so much more affordable than buying it at the store, especially when you're using what you already have. And we use it for so many things, such as soups, cooking grains, or just sipping on for gut health. And you can either can it up or you can freeze it, whichever is the easiest way for you and your family. With this yogurt recipe, it said that I had to let the milk cool down to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. However, I was reading the back of the culture and it said 77 degrees. So I split the difference essentially and waited until it was about 95 degrees Fahrenheit. And it worked absolutely perfectly. From the angle that I am setting the yogurt button, I thought it had said 9.5 hours. And looking at it during editing, I see it was only 4.5. I did run it for 9 hours total, and it came out beautifully. It wasn't too sour or anything like that. It was absolutely perfect. And I did put a lid on it in the stainless steel insert and put it in the fridge for a couple days. And then I decided to go ahead and strain the whey from it to make it more thick and like Greek yogurt. In my house, I save all of my cheesecloth for my tinctures and teas. So I decided to use a tea towel for this, and it worked beautifully. Always make sure that you save about a half a cup to a cup of your yogurt from each batch so that you can make the next batch. Unless you just want to keep buying cultures, which in my opinion, that's not very cost saving or self-sustainable. It would definitely work a lot faster if I had hung this from one of my cabinets over the strainer, but I didn't have the time to really finagle that this day. So I did put a rubber band around the top and just let it sit there. And then as you see, I end up squeezing it out. I did save all of this whey that came out, and I will show you what I used it for in another upcoming video. So stick around for that if you're curious. But I tried to make sure that nothing goes to waste in my home. And as you can see, it is a little messy, but it's a delicious messy. And don't let this mess scare you. It really isn't too bad, I promise. There was definitely a lot more whey that I could have gotten out of this yogurt. And if you accidentally take too much out of your yogurt and it's not as liquidy as you would like, you can always add some back in. It's not taking it out and it's gone forever. But I did know that on this day I was going to be adding in maple syrup and vanilla, and that was going to be more liquid. So I think that having taken out this much whey was absolutely perfect for us. It was still nice and creamy when I was done. And if you've seen any of my videos, I always measure with my heart. And as I heard someone say today, if your heart is broken and you need to know how much I put in, I would say about 2 tablespoons worth of vanilla and probably about a quarter cup to a third cup of maple syrup is what I use for sweetener. And of course, you can also use honey for a sweetener, or any other type that you would like. It's really just been a slow return to doing more at home, nothing complicated, just small, steady changes over time. And even starting with one of these can make a bigger difference than you might think. If you'd like to keep going, you can click this video right here that YouTube thinks you'll like next, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.